Well, joining us now to discuss the allegations of election fraud in Georgia is Republican Congressman Jody Hice of Georgia. Congressman, great to have you back on the show.
Great to be with you. Thanks.
You know, not to take anything away from Republican women's clubs around the country that really were the backbone of Republicans winning for so many years, but I'll tell you what, the Democrats have perfected an art of using billionaires, using government offices, using bogus ways to social media to squash the message of conservatives. We're up against it here, Congressman.
Yeah, and that's a lot of the problem. Stacey Abrams has been the mastermind behind this for the last 2 years, ever since she lost her run for governor of the state of Georgia. She has been involved in, number one, claiming that she never lost. But from that, she has been screaming all sorts of voter fraud and that she was going to correct the problem. And she has corrected it with the greatest voter fraud, perhaps in the history of our nation. And we've got to get to the bottom of this. It's a disgrace. Again, if we lose the integrity of the voter box in the United States, we ultimately lose our republic. This is not something that we can brush under the carpet. This is something that must be investigated and must be confronted head on.
So, Congressman, it sure looks like it's being brushed under the rug. The media's not reporting on this video that we've been showing of ballot boxes coming out from underneath tables. I showed one woman earlier in the program who appears to be running through ballots 2-3 times. Now, I can't say for sure what they're doing, Congressman, but shouldn't they be at least interviewed by detectives or FBI agents, and nothing's happening, and they're going to go ahead and certify this?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, I've spoken to an individual in the Georgia state legislature who was in this thing in the hearing yesterday. He's watched the entire video. And the sequence is this: at about 8:30 a.m., that big, long black table that you see there was brought into the room, the black skirting was put around it, and the suitcases, boxes were put underneath it. They go all day long until at about 10:30 p.m., when the so-called water main break occurs. A lady comes to the middle of the room, and all the Republican poll watchers are told, evidently it's silent, but you can assume by watching it, they're told to leave the room, which they do. That's at 10:30 p.m. At 10:40, the folks left in the room go back to that black table, pull out all the suitcases out from underneath it with apparently tons of ballots. They start going to the ballot counting machines and start cramming them in there. And what you must understand, this is unbelievable. These machines are capable of counting 3,000 ballots per hour. There were multiple machines in there. And for 2 hours, they run these ballots through the machines.
Here's the most important question for you to wrap this up. You got the Secretary of State's office. He's supposed to be a Republican. You got the governor. Governor Kemp, who said, oh, well, now check the signatures. What about he says, oh, this is concerning, this stuff. What do you do in your position to put pressure on these guys to stop this in its tracks and get to the bottom of it?
Look, we keep throwing as much gas on the fire as we possibly can, and I'm all for signature verification. That needs to happen with the signatures that are actually on the voter registration file that match to the signatures on the ballots. But you absolutely cannot afford to sweep under the rug a bombshell video that evidently is showing in broad light for everyone to see how fraud is taking place, and then come back and say, that's just normal operating procedure. Is it normal operating procedure to hide ballots under a sheet-covered table all day long? This is wrong.
It is not, and every reasonable person knows it's not normal operating procedure, including everybody up there trying to tell us that it is. I just hope and pray somebody can get to the bottom of this. Congressman Jody Hice, I appreciate your fire on this. Thank you so much.